let's make a paper piggy bank. Hi, and welcome back to my craft room. My name is Kelsey. I also call myself Dinosaur Mama, and I am so excited to be bringing you this watermelon paper piggy bank. If you're new to my YouTube channel and tutorials, I will have everything linked down in the blog post below, including the free SVG download from my website. Let's get started in Cricut Design Space. So this SVG file is pretty much ready to upload and go. The only thing you're gonna have to do is change the size if you want to max out a 12 by 12 piece of paper. And the size change is going to be for the whole SVG file 18.2 width. If you have your width and height locked, then it'll resize the height and you're good to go. I cut everything out of cardstock paper on the medium cardstock setting in fast mode, but of course you're going to have to adjust with your settings depending on your machine. And for these little green squiggles, you can always move things around so that they're not so spaced out. So that's what I did here. And once you have everything ready to go, you can cut it out and we can start assembling. It's that easy. So I'm starting by folding in on my score lines. I used textured paper, so I made sure to keep the texture on the outside that's just something that you need to keep in mind if you use textured paper. And I'm folding in on all of these flaps as well as the small flaps, and then I am going to glue one side onto the inside of that main watermelon body. There is a flat part on this, which is going to be the bottom of the bank. And then obviously where the slit is the top of the bank. And now I'm just adding on some of my craft glue here to make sure that it is secure on the inside. And I apologize if you hear any thunder today. We are in a tornado watch, so I'm trying to finish this up just in case the power goes out or anything. So I'm gluing this in, and just be patient. Use your fingers to align everything to the side, and then you'll do the same thing on the other side as well. And just take your time when you are securing this, make sure you're going as close to the edge as possible and giving your glue time to dry. Again, I'm using Barely Arts craft glue if you saw that in the materials list in the blog post. However, you can also use hot glue for this, or even like a tape gun if you prefer. Now we're going to attach the other piece that's missing, and I started with just this little flap on the side, and I attached it towards the bottom because then at the top I can use the hole where you put the money. I can use that and put my finger inside to secure it from the inside. So I suggest starting at the bottom and working your way up. And again, you're gonna do the same thing where you're gluing one side down and then moving over to the other side. This is gonna be a little bit trickier just because you can't fit your fingers all the way down. So just use a little bit of light pressure and a liberal amount of glue on both sides to make sure that it really secures down together, because again, you can't put your fingers inside as much. So I am just using a little bit of pressure on the outside for this. And so you'll see here, I have it secured, and then I'm just adding a little more glue to kind of secure it like right on the edge. And it did secure completely around. So it does work. Again, it's just a little bit tougher to do because you can't put your finger in. So I apologize. That's the way a lot of 3D designs end up being, but just take your time, be patient, and secure it down. And now I'm going to add glue onto that top flap, and I'm securing it in. And again, you can stick your finger inside of it. I used my pointer finger and just held it in to secure it into place. So now we're going to add on our squiggles, and I am speeding this up because you do not need to watch me put on like 50 squiggles. You want to keep these on the outside. So I realized this here, these first two, I shouldn't have put them, like first few actually, I think I put another one. No, two, I shouldn't have put those there. You should focus on just the rind on the outside. So where I'm starting now, you can do a few on the top towards the outside, like closer to the edge, but the top of the bank is going to be covered by a piece of paper. So there's no point in putting these strips up there. You really want to just focus on the outside. So that would be the bottom of the bank and around the side of the bank. So not on the top of the bank where you're going to create the watermelon. And I just used a little bit of glue and I randomly placed these all over. There's like no rhyme or reason. I really was just trying to make it look like a watermelon. So you don't have to use all these if you don't want to, and you can take your time placing them on. I use my tweezers to secure them, and part of them are going to get covered up by the red and white paper, so it really doesn't matter where you place them. And once you have those all glued on, it's time to add on our other layers. So the first one's gonna be your white layer or your cream color layer. I went with more of a cream colored on mine. And you're just gonna fold it like we did on those two perforated lines, and then the holes line up absolutely perfectly. So that is your guide on where to place it. And then it'll be flat on the bottom. And my only suggestion here is just use a lot of glue. Like I had to go back and put even more glue on to make sure it was really secure down. So see, I just keep adding more and more glue, and now I'm adding on that next layer of the red. I think I was watching a show, so I'm sorry if my hands pop in and out. And again, I'm lining those up perfectly to place them on. And I'm speeding through this as well because I don't think you need me slowing down on where to place paper seeds. So I'm just placing a few on each side, and I am going to then place some on top as well. So just place them randomly throughout your piggy bank. You can do this however you'd like. And now for our final step, we are going to add our vacation fund layers. These are obviously optional. If you don't want to have them on, you can just hide them when they are in Cricut Design Space and not cut them out. And so I am going to layer these. I'm going to glue down the first set of letters, and then I'm going to use foam tape between the next two. And on my run on this one, I don't know why, because I looked at the SVG a million times. For some reason, the red didn't line up properly on mine, but I looked at the SVG and it's fine. So please ignore that mine has that. However, I just covered it with the vacation fund part, and I double checked this, and I have another one of these cut out, so I know it works. But if yours happens to have this little gap as well, please let me know in the comments, because I never want to put out a file that is not perfect. All right, and then I just attached this on with glue. So it was nothing fancy here. And that is our completed watermelon piggy bank. I am so happy with how this turned out. It was so cute. Thank you so much for joining me today as we made this paper piggy bank. If you enjoyed making this craft as much as I did, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It helps me so much, and plus you get to find out when I make new projects. If you have any questions or comments, don't forget to drop those below, and stay tuned for my next project. Stay crafty!